Both my sister and I star in our own novels. She's got the role of a major female protagonist in the entertainment biz, while I'm stuck as the lead in a painful romance saga, where the plot revolves around falling in love after an arranged marriage. She's jealous because I can snag company shares just by having a kid. I could easily choose to live it up as a rich, carefree lady, and if I ever get bored, I could jump into the company as the vice president. But she's got to curb her cravings, hustle hard, stay dedicated to filming, and deal with the trash talk and hate from shady fans. Man, if only we could swap our storylines. On our way back home for ancestor worship, the brakes failed, and we both took a tumble off the cliff together. When we came to, we were both reborn. My sister quickly married into a wealthy family and found herself in a love after marriage story with a disabled, domineering CEO. I gently told her that being the daughter in law of a rich family isn't a walk in the park, but she thought I was too stubborn to let go of my lavish life and kept throwing hurdles in my path to becoming the queen of the entertainment world. Fine, do your thing, I couldn't care less. As soon as I woke up, I realized I was reborn right when the Ethan family was proposing marriage. Mom looked at me with worried and guilty eyes. Something went wrong at our family's construction site, and the stock prices nosedived. Only by teaming up with the Ethan family could we survive this tough time at home. Mom knew Ethan was disabled, but his mom promised to treat the daughter-in-law well in the future. Diana, you're the older sister, so you should be more understanding, she said. Before I could react, Anna grabbed Mom's hand first and sincerely said, Mom, when Grandpa arranged the infant betrothal, he clearly said it was for the younger granddaughter. Even though Ethan is disabled, we can't break our promise. Let me marry him. Mom, knowing I was still around and couldn't openly badmouth the Ethan family, could only hint subtly that it was a risky move. But Anna was set in her ways and wouldn't budge. Mom had no choice but to agree and hugged her, crying together. That's when I realized Anna was also reborn. In our past lives, Anna despised Ethan for his disability, cried her eyes out, made a fuss, and even threatened to hang herself until she forced me to marry him instead. My mother-in-law was a control freak. She ordered me to give up the big factory I just acquired and stay home to get pregnant and have a son. Amelia was always causing drama for no reason and loved setting rules. She'd slap me at the slightest provocation. Ethan had an unpredictable temper. He liked to beat me up while I was pregnant to feed his inferiority complex. I had to step back and ask for the company shares and the vice president position of the Ethan family as compensation. But Anna only saw my glamorous exterior and didn't notice the struggles I faced. After getting reborn, she couldn't wait to reclaim the marriage she had once rejected. Initially, her move made sense. However, even though we both married into the Ethan family, Mom treated me and Anna completely differently. I knew she had favored Anna since we were kids, but it was still heartbreaking that she showed no exception even during such a major life event. So I decided to live for myself in this life and build my own world. When Anna agreed to the alliance, Dad was all smiles. But the moment he saw me, he got annoyed, saying, "Look how sensible your sister is. You're just a useless waste who can't help the family at all. Being sensible always means sacrificing your own interests for others. It's a restraint and a shackle. I don't care about it." Anna sat beside him giggling and patiently advised, "Dad, I heard an actor can make 2.08 million yuan a day. My sister has a good image and will definitely become popular. When she starts earning money, she can also support the family." Hearing about the pay, Dad immediately approved my sister's suggestion and told me in a firm tone to give up the big factory and join the entertainment industry. The company was losing money and the stock price had plummeted. Dad needed cash urgently. I had already figured he wouldn't agree to me joining the big factory, so I easily agreed. Anna rolled her eyes with disdain. After dinner, when we went upstairs, she blocked my way, her face full of sarcasm. "My dear sister, you can never compare to me." I gave a faint smile, showing respect, blessings, and a hint of confusion. I sneered internally. She'd seen so many shady things in the entertainment world in her past life, and in this new life, she was trying to push me into the fire pit. I was even planning to share my experience of being a rich lady with her. Not anymore. I decided to let her know that no matter what choices you make, success or failure depends on you. Anna's wedding was set for 2 months later. She was busy prepping for the wedding and didn't have time to target me. I also started auditioning more often, but the results were always disappointing. In the end, I only landed the role of a maid beside the Empress in a period drama and the lead in a low budget online series. After some thought, I chose the latter. When Anna heard the news, she laughed and mocked me. Sister, you might as well beg me. Maybe if I'm in a good mood, I can introduce you to a boss. I had already guessed that Anna had set things up to gave me good roles. But I didn't care and didn't argue with her. I just focused on studying the script. Anna entered the entertainment scene with the resources provided by the family, but wasn't willing to spend time honing her acting skills. She often threw her weight around and was jokingly called Miss Number by netizens. She didn't realize that mature acting skills could compensate for any lack of resources. This low-budget online drama was a story of rebirth and revenge, somewhat similar to my own experience. I was confident I could act it well. Seeing that I was ignoring her, Anna even tried to snatch my script. I smiled wryly and finally spoke up, my voice cold. Beg you? You better go and beg my good brother-in-law? Anna got so mad she stomped her feet. She was about to unleash a torrent of abuse when the phone rang. Instantly, her face lit up with a big smile. She threw a few sarcastic remarks my way and then left. I watched her walk away, unable to help but sneer. How could she still be so clueless, even after getting a second chance at life? To concentrate on studying the script, I moved to live on the film set and focused on filming. Since I had hired an acting coach in advance to help me polish the character's inner feelings, I nailed it in one take during shooting. When I wasn't in a scene, I'd squat beside the monitor to watch others perform. Seeing my eagerness to learn, the director would also give me tips from time to time, so I made rapid progress. Although this online drama was filmed by a small crew, the environment was great and the colleagues were friendly. The 2 months of shooting flew by. After wrapping up, I treated the entire crew to a meal, and the director also gave me a big red envelope. I had no reason to stay on the set anymore. Coincidentally, Anna's wedding was about to start, so I had to go home. As soon as I got home, Anna caused a scene. She asked me to be her bridesmaid. My gut told me she had ulterior motives, so I refused straight up. But I couldn't handle her moral blackmailing in front of my parents, so I had to agree. The wedding was super lavish, and Anna was glowing with smiles. During the toasts, she deliberately introduced me to several fat cat bosses. Having attended numerous business meetings in the Ethan family in my past life, was there any situation I couldn't handle? She was trying to get me drunk and send me to someone else's bed for favors. Unfortunately, I was no longer the Diana who would let her push me around. I pretended to be friendly. She was pretty satisfied and asked me to chat with the bosses while she continued to toast. Seeing her leave, I found an excuse to slip away. Based on my memories from my past life, I searched around the banquet hall. Soon I saw Sophia sitting quietly in the corner. I walked up to her and said in a friendly tone, Miss Sophia, interested in collaborating? Sophia looked at me warily. I explained my intention to invest and become a shareholder. She got really excited and talked nonstop. I listened with a smile. She had great ideas and was pretty advanced, which is why many people didn't take her seriously. In my past life, when I became the vice president of the Ethan Group, I wanted to develop an entertainment sector. By then, she had already emerged as a rising star and could compete with the company Anna signed with. It was a shame I never got to collaborate with her before I died. Now I had to grab this chance. As my thoughts returned, Sophia noticed I was zoning out and cautiously asked how to become a shareholder. I handed her my business card and set up a time to discuss the collaboration. She readily agreed, and I already had a plan in mind. Although climbing the entertainment ladder is flashy, I wanted to be a capital force in the industry. After reaching an agreement with Sophia, something unexpected happened on Anna's side. She was grabbed by Ethan's sister and reprimanded. I warn you, now that you've married my brother, don't even think about being fickle. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Anna had never faced such humiliation before. She was so angry she opened her mouth to retort but got slapped hard by Amelia, leaving her stunned. Ethan and his mother turned a blind eye, clearly backing Amelia's behavior. I curled the corners of my mouth. The Ethan family was still the same as in my past life, always setting rules. Anna was going to have a tough time ahead. After Anna got married, just like me in my past life, she wasn't allowed to work outside and could only stay home to prepare for pregnancy. But she was super enthusiastic about it and was searching everywhere for folk remedies to have a son. But it had nothing to do with me anymore. I found a time to meet Sophia. She had now founded Chiwu Studio and was planning a girl group talent show, but was short on startup funds. No one had done this kind of show yet, so she was one of the first to dive in. During college, I often entered competitions and won scholarships. I also teamed up with seniors on big projects. Now I had enough savings to invest, so I didn't hesitate to agree but demanded half of the shares, and she was cool with it. After drafting the contract, we signed it and got to work. Sophia started perfecting the program details, while I went to the film academy to sign several actors who would become somewhat famous in the future and poached a few experienced agents from other companies. Then I contacted a certain website. 3 years later, their top works would be adapted into films and TV dramas, raking in huge profits. But to be ready, I still signed a few promising screenwriters and asked them to start writing short dramas. With a second chance at life, I had a solid understanding of trends in the entertainment industry. It was like standing at a wind vane, where even a pig could be blown up. The small online drama I filmed received a great response after it aired, and I gained a small group of fans. More and more acting offers started coming in. From the scripts presented to me, I chose an ancient costume torturous romance drama to gradually refine my acting skills. Although I wanted to move behind the scenes later, since I was acting, I had to stay responsible for myself and my fans. I kept my investment in the studio a secret and focused on filming on set. After being busy for half a year, the studio was on the right track. The recording of the girl group talent show was almost done. Sophia released the promo video, but the response was meh, and the industry was generally pessimistic. I comforted her to chill, but I was actually quite nervous myself. Fortunately, after the program aired, it became an instant hit as audiences loved its novel theme. The girl group officially debuted, and many entertainment companies, seeing this, extended olive branches for collaboration. Drawing on my memories from my past life, I screened several companies for friendly and long-term partnerships. By the end of the program, we made huge profits, and Chiwu Studio quickly gained a reputation in the entertainment industry. Just when I was about to scale up, Mom told me Anna was pregnant. Anna, with her slightly round belly, came up to me to show off. "Sister, we women should just stay home to take care of our husbands and teach our kids. What's the point of showing off in public?" I shot back sarcastically. "Did you lose your mind after getting married? Instead of wasting your time like this, you better keep your husband in check." In my past life, although Ethan was disabled in both legs, he had no physical problems, but his mentality was even more messed up, and he tried every way to torture me. However, once I was sure I was pregnant, I threw him over my shoulder and subdued him. He then started keeping mistresses outside. Judging by the time, it should be about that time now. Anna was so mad her breathing became shaky when I hit the nail on the head. I quickly moved away, scared she might miscarry and blame it on me. I was looking at a message from Sophia that several of the artists under me had passed auditions for a big director and landed supporting roles in a movie. These artists were all promising prospects who could win Best Actress awards in the future. All I needed to do was nurture them carefully. Anna was raving about how great Ethan was to her, probably trying to rile me up. But I stayed unmoved. Tired of listening to her, I suddenly stood up and looked down at her. "Anna, I suggest you stop bothering me. Otherwise, don't blame me for exposing all your dirty secrets." Remembering that in my past life, she deliberately messed with my car brakes, causing me to fall off the cliff and die a horrible death, I was seething with hatred. Now that my wings weren't fully grown and I couldn't compete with the Ethan family, dealing with her alone was more than enough. She was trembling all over, but not wanting to lose face in front of me, she forced herself to look calm. "Just you wait." I slightly raised my eyebrows, waiting to see what would happen. Unexpectedly, Anna's revenge came so fast. I was reciting my lines in the lounge when my assistant, holding a phone, urgently asked if the negative rumors online were true. I was clueless. I took the phone and browsed through the negative rumors trending. Someone had exposed that I was kept by a boss when I was in college, that I had snatched others' scholarships and project opportunities, and so on. All these were lies. Moreover, many classmates claiming to have been bullied by me popped up under the post, each word seeming like solid evidence, trying to push me into the abyss. Even the media quickly dug up my identity and interviewed my parents. They personally admitted that those rumors were true and even pretended to cry, saying, "Diana has done many wrong things before. It's our fault for not teaching her well. We hope she can wake up soon and that everyone can give her a chance to reform." My heart grew colder by the inch. I never expected them to be so biased and directly ruin my reputation. I put the phone away. The director, looking troubled, informed me that my role had been replaced. I understood that Anna had used the Ethan family's influence to pressure the director. In this circle, capital controls most of the resources. I didn't make things difficult for the director. Instead, I packed up my stuff and went back to the studio with my assistant. Sophia was so worried, pacing around. All your activities have been suspended. This was definitely a fatal blow to a new actress. My eyes dimmed slightly. Luckily, I had kept my investment and shareholding a strict secret. Otherwise, Anna would have tried every means to take down the studio. I comforted her to focus on expanding the studio and hired professionals to investigate the posts and the people spreading rumors about me. It turned out they were online trolls that the Diana family had been keeping. I forced myself to stay calm and started gathering evidence to sue them for slander. However, after consulting around, no lawyer dared to take on the case. I was full of worry. Now that Anna was pregnant with the Ethan family's child, the Ethan family was being quite indulgent towards her. Just when I was stuck, I received a strange message. I can help you with the lawsuit. Meet me at Lawn Pie Cafe in half an hour. Was this like someone offering a pillow just when I wanted to take a nap? Or was it a prank? I hesitantly drove to the cafe. Going up to the second floor, I saw only one person sitting by the window with their head down, emotions unreadable. I walked over smoothly and took a seat. She wasn't humble or pushy and started discussing the lawsuit with me. After a discussion, I finalized the cooperation and showed her the evidence I had gathered so far. After carefully reviewing it, she agreed with a smile. I looked at her a bit strangely. Why do you want to help me now that I've offended the Ethan family? Aren't you scared of getting revenge? Her tone was calm and steady. If I were afraid of revenge, I wouldn't take on this case. It goes against my original intention of becoming a lawyer. It seemed she had a story. However, since she didn't want to talk about it, I didn't push. After exchanging contact information, I went back to the studio. Sophia was pleasantly surprised to see me. Do you know? There's been a turnaround for your situation. I was puzzled. Looking at the trending search, I found that public sentiment had suddenly shifted. It turned out that initially, netizens were outraged about my supposedly snatching others' scholarships and project opportunities in college. They flocked to the school's official website, demanding the revocation of my excellent graduate title and the recovery of scholarships and project profits. Under external pressure, the school launched a thorough investigation. Finally, the results showed that my GPA was way ahead during my school days. My grades were excellent, and the sources of my project opportunities were legitimate. My alma mater was one of the top universities in the country, and its fairness was beyond question. At this point, those who spread rumors about me got slapped in the face hard. Netizens were curious about my majoring in business, but entering the entertainment industry. They even dug up that my parents had forced me into the entertainment industry a few months ago. Additionally, my parents had publicly denied those slanderous claims in front of the media, showing their extreme bias. For a while, everyone criticized them harshly. My public image reversed instantly, and I even gained a group of fans. It was sudden. However, the reversal was so quick that I couldn't help but wonder if I was really this lucky. I received a message from lawyer William, saying he would fully represent me in suing the online trolls from the Diana family. However, this meant I had completely cut ties with my family. Moreover, the Ethan family was very unhappy with Anna's behavior and ordered her not to go out until she gave birth. Sophia also told me that many directors had extended olive branches to me. I furrowed my brows slightly and had a different idea. I'll only take some cameo roles to maintain my popularity and leave the opportunities to the newcomers. It's not that I'm being overly kind-hearted. This time, Anna's revenge made me realize more clearly that only when my own strength is strong enough can I avoid being easily manipulated by others. So I needed to accelerate my plan's progress. Drawing on my memories from my past life, I managed to secure several promising projects before the Ethan family and invested in various industries. Meanwhile, I asked my friends to acquire the scattered shares of the Ethan family's company. The big shots in the circle also noticed that my projects were sure to turn a profit and extended all sorts of branches to me. I was happy to cooperate. After the works I bought were adapted into films or TV dramas, I reaped huge profits. The short dramas also attracted many people to Recharge, and the company's income was quite substantial. In just half a year, the company grew from a small studio with 20 people to a leading company in the entertainment industry. More and more artists signed contracts with our company. I wasn't idle either. I started collecting black materials about Anna, just giving her a taste of her own medicine. I sued the Diana family's online troll company for defamation and libel, and finally won the lawsuit. After my parents found out, they were so angry they called to scold me for being unfilial and said that since Anna gave birth to a boy, she was a great contributor to the Ethan family. It's a pity that I'm no longer the daughter who would let them manipulate me. I signed my name on the contract for the land in the western suburbs that was about to be developed and sneered with the pen tip, "Did you ever think I was your daughter when you helped Anna perjure herself?" My father threatened to sever our father-daughter relationship. I couldn't ask for more and immediately agreed. Just then, I received an invitation from Ethan's mother. It seemed that in this life, since I'd interfered with the Ethan family's interests, they couldn't stay quiet. I went to the cafe as invited and saw that Ethan's mother still looked elegant and dignified, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. In my past life, after marrying Ethan, I devoted myself to studying business books in the study. Coupled with my experience doing projects with seniors before, I soon caught Ethan's mother's attention. After Ethan became disabled, his temperament changed drastically, and he was no longer fit to inherit the family business. The Ethan family was extremely traditional and unwilling to hand over the business to Amelia, so she chose to cultivate me. Ethan's mother sneered. "Miss Diana really has good judgment. Your investment projects are truly sure to make a profit." My heart suddenly sank. In this life, I could say I had snatched food from the tiger's mouth. It was only a matter of time before the Ethan family discovered me. However, they couldn't touch me for now. Although the Ethan family was dominant, my cooperative relationships with various big shots were intertwined. Ethan's mother gracefully handed the contract to me. "Although Miss Diana has an extraordinary talent for investment, I still want to give you a piece of advice. A powerful dragon cannot crush a local snake." She was warning me, but I remembered how the Ethan family treated me in my past life. So, I pretended not to understand and pushed the contract back. "What are you talking about, Ethan's mother? In the business world, those with abilities naturally succeed. Although the Ethan family has a 100-year foundation, it's rotten and dilapidated inside." Ethan's mother looked angry, thinking I was ungrateful. I continued to smile and said, "However, there are no enemies in the business world, right?" She looked at me with interest. I remained neither humble nor pushy, and advised her to pay attention to real estate investment. Originally, the Ethan family started in real estate. It was only because Ethan's father made a wrong decision that led to the Ethan family's decline. Ethan's father had no choice but to marry Ethan's mother, who was from a similar family background, and then the Ethan family regained its footing. Ethan's mother didn't say anything and gracefully picked up her bag and left. I watched her walk away thoughtfully. It seemed time to add more fuel to the fire. Ethan's mother refocused on the real estate industry and found the prospects excellent. After investing, she reaped rich rewards and sent me an invitation to the Ethan family's eldest grandson's full moon celebration. I knew the time to officially access top resources had arrived. I dressed appropriately and went to the appointment. Anna saw me and was full of resentment. "What are you doing here? The Ethan family doesn't welcome you." Her voice drew attention from those around, and she got even more complacent, asking the security guards to drive me out. Ethan's mother arrived in time and accused her of making a fuss. At this moment, it could be seen as her indirectly admitting our partnership. Anna's eyes grew even more resentful as I followed Ethan's mother to chat with the circle's bosses. During the toast and chats, I managed to secure quite a few collaborations. Ethan's mother was called away by the nanny. Perhaps something was wrong with the child. Anna finally seized the opportunity and with her group of little sisters blocked my way. Anna crossed her arms. "Sister, now that you've been kicked out of the Diana family, are you still getting enough to eat? Haven't you hooked up with some boss?" Her sisters burst into laughter and flattered her in every way. "Don't you know? Anna is now a great contributor to the Ethan family. Ethan's mother said that in the future, as long as she gives birth to a child, whether it's a boy or a girl, she'll be rewarded with a house, a car, and 2 million yuan in cash. Someone like you isn't even worthy of carrying her shoes." It seemed they completely saw her as a tool for giving birth. They didn't even give her the right to manage the household. I pretended to be envious and congratulated her with a smile, but was actually thinking about the good show that would start soon. She wanted to retort a few more sentences but was called by Ethan's mother to prepare to go on stage to give a speech. I stood under the stage, lost in thought. Did she really think my 3-year undercover work in my past life was in vain? With the joy of being a new mother on her face, Anna delivered a bunch of words of gratitude to the Ethan family. Then she ordered the prepared photos of the baby's full moon to be played. But the next second, what appeared on the big screen was a report of Ethan having oligospermia, along with photos of Anna going in and out of her lover's house. Obviously, the baby wasn't Ethan's. As soon as these photos appeared, the whole place erupted into chaos. My sister, standing aside, was dumbfounded and screamed for someone to turn off the computer. Ethan's sister was the first to react. She rushed up and slapped Anna, shouting, "You little vixen! I warned you before, and yet you still dared to deceive us?" The scene was in turmoil. To save the situation, Ethan's mother apologized and asked the guests to leave first. Then she took Anna and her lover to the hospital for tests. However, the guests were all very interested in this sudden drama. Soon, everyone in the circle knew about Ethan having oligospermia. After watching the spectacle, I felt a great sense of satisfaction. I exchanged a knowing smile with Ethan's sister and then looked away. I instructed my subordinates to transfer money to the account of the mistress Ethan was keeping outside, keeping my contribution and identity hidden. I went back home and relaxed in the bathtub, but my thoughts drifted back to my past life. In my past life, before preparing for pregnancy, I arranged for both of us to have a physical examination and discovered that Ethan had oligospermia. Because I helped him keep it a secret from the Ethan family, his attitude towards me improved a lot. I got pregnant through in vitro fertilization, but Anna didn't know about it. She was so eager to get pregnant that she ended up having an affair, and the report of Ethan having oligospermia was provided by that mistress. After all, she also wanted to take Anna's place. Taking advantage of the chaos within the Ethan family, I went back to the company and accelerated the pace of cooperation with other bosses, pouring in large amounts of funds. A few days later, I heard that the test results came out. The baby indeed wasn't Ethan's, and Ethan beat Anna half to death. Seeing her opportunity, Ethan's sister made a solemn pledge to Ethan's mother and parachuted into the company to become the general manager. Ethan's mother took Ethan around the world to treat his oligospermia. Now that there was no one left in the Ethan family who could take charge, Ethan's mother had no choice but to hand the company over to her. I thought the time I'd been waiting for had finally arrived. Ethan divorced Anna and recovered all the property she had spent after marriage. Her dream of being the president's wife was nothing but a pipe dream. Moreover, Ethan's mother withdrew all her investments from the Diana family. The Diana family was already on its last legs, and now it directly declared bankruptcy. My parents either beat or scolded Anna, making the house a chaotic mess. I started spreading the news in the circle that I was going to develop a real estate project. Upon hearing this, Ethan's sister immediately cut in without hesitation. I received the news and curled the corners of my mouth. She was as clueless as in my past life. However, I wasn't in a hurry. I was playing the long game. I went back to the Diana family's house. Anna was super excited to see me. "Was it your doing? Otherwise, how could I have been kicked out by the Ethan family?" I took a step back and smiled calmly. "If you don't want others to know, don't do it yourself." She was full of hatred. Ignoring the pain on her body, she rushed up and grabbed my neck. Why did I still lose, even after getting a second chance at life? If it wasn't for you, I would still be the young mistress of the Ethan family. "I'll kill you," she hissed. My chest heaved up and down. I gasped for air intermittently, struggling to move my pale and bloodless lips. The feeling of suffocation overwhelmed me. Hearing the commotion, my parents came out of the room. Seeing the scene, they quickly stepped forward and pulled her away. I breathed in the fresh air, gasping for breath. For a moment, I felt like I was going to die. My parents frowned and scolded Anna. She couldn't believe it. Since childhood, she had never suffered such humiliation. But now, she had no value to my parents. With the Diana family bankrupt, they could only rely on me. I looked at Anna with mixed feelings. She had always been the favored one, but in both lives, she had tried to kill me. This time, I wouldn't let her go again. Without hesitation, I picked up my phone and called the police. I also went to the hospital to get a forensic injury assessment report, proving Anna's intention to commit murder. She was taken away, and a case was filed. At the same time, I received news that there were quality problems with the real estate project developed by the Ethan family. Many workers fell from the tall building, and the Ethan family's stock price plummeted. I immediately went to the Ethan group. The families of the workers who had the accident downstairs placed coffins at the entrance and held banners, demanding an explanation from the Ethan group. Ethan's sister hid and refused to come out. The family simply started a live broadcast, and the popularity shot straight to the top of the hot search list. The Ethan family's stock price dropped sharply, and I took the opportunity to acquire more shares. Now that Ethan's mother wasn't in the company to oversee things, and Ethan's sister was a useless good-for-nothing who couldn't control the situation, the shareholders were very dissatisfied with her. After an investigation, it was discovered that she was embezzling and taking bribes. A shareholders' meeting was held overnight to demand her removal as general manager. I smiled without saying a word. What a fool! There's no such thing as a free lunch. That real estate project was a half-finished building project in my past life. To make money, Ethan's sister would surely seek profits from the raw materials, resulting in the supplied materials not meeting the standards and the workers having accidents during construction. She was kicked out of the Ethan group and came to me, asking why I was developing this real estate project. I shrugged innocently. I just had the idea, but I didn't say it would definitely make money. And it was you who were greedy and bought it first. Who can you blame? Over the past year, I had a sharp eye, and all the projects I invested in were profitable. She never expected that this time it was a trap I set. I had her kicked out and started stirring up netizens' emotions, criticizing the Ethan group harshly. A few days later, news broke that the Ethan group had been callous towards human lives for over a decade. There was an accident during construction that left a worker severely paralyzed, but they refused to pay compensation. Ethan's mother had her distant nephew run over that worker with a car and used her power to suppress public attention. The worker's family had no way to seek justice legally. The Ethan group's stocks plummeted to the bottom. Many shareholders, seeing the situation, sold off their shares one after another, and I bought them all. By the time Ethan's mother got the news and rushed back to the country, many of the bosses who had previously cooperated with the Ethan group took the opportunity to kick them while they were down and divide up the Ethan group's resources. The Ethan group fell apart, and she was also taken away for investigation due to the old case. Everything was finally settled. Watching the rise and fall of the high-rise buildings, the twists and turns of the world never ceased. Seeing that the time was ripe, I handed over all the evidence I had collected for reporting. The tax bureau sent people to conduct an inspection and found that the Ethan group had been evading taxes and had engaged in many illegal operations with shady transactions over the years. The Ethan group's capital chain was thus broken. I took the opportunity to acquire and merge the Ethan group with my company. The Chiwu company finally became a leading enterprise. Sitting in the high-rise office of the Ethan group, looking down at the pedestrians coming and going downstairs, I couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. In my past life, I knew Ethan's mother's tactics like the back of my hand. So, after being reborn, I was busy collecting evidence against her and continuously expanding my own empire, just to bring her down one day. However, I did investigate the old case from over a decade ago. Thinking of this, I picked up my phone to contact lawyer William and went to the prison to see Ethan's mother together. Ethan's mother had instigated others to break the law, was corrupt, and evaded taxes. With a string of charges, she was sentenced to life imprisonment. She had long lost her former glory, and her eyes were calm. When she saw me, she smiled sarcastically. "I have no enmity with you, yet you take revenge on me like this." I really didn't understand why. I didn't say a word. Our hatred had been sown in my past life. She had monopolized my life. I could have lived the life I wanted freely and unrestrainedly. However, lawyer William behind me, with grief and indignation, spoke up first to accuse, "You wealthy families never regard the lives of ordinary people as lives. You killed my father back then. I've been preparing for over 10 years just for you to get what you deserve today. All of this is the result of your own actions." I stepped aside tactfully. This old incident had been weighing on lawyer William's heart for many years. So when I first asked her why she would risk offending the Ethan family to help me, the original intention of becoming a lawyer, she mentioned, was to make the Ethan family receive the punishment they deserved and seek justice for her father. And those pieces of evidence were what she had collected over the years, just for a fatal blow. I moved my company to the former site of the Ethan Group and handed over the Chiwu company to Sophia to manage with full authority. Sitting in the huge office, everything seemed so unreal. Rebirth was like a dream. I received a call from the Public Security Bureau saying that Anna had a mental illness and couldn't bear legal responsibility. I slapped my phone onto the floor. I didn't know how much truth there was to this illness. I decided to go and see for myself. Anna was finally sent back to the Diana family. Having learned from the last lesson, I brought a few bodyguards and waited outside the door. I walked into Anna's room. She turned around with a look of smugness and provocation in her eyes, but said with her mouth, "Sister, you're here. I missed you so much." My heart suddenly sank, so her illness was faked with the help of my parents. I didn't go closer. I just opened the door and stood there. She pretended to be crazy. "My dear sister, why is it that you still win in this life? I'm the real daughter of the Diana family." Her words exploded in my mind like sparks. For a moment, it seemed like I knew something. I looked at her in disbelief. Seeing that she had piqued my interest, she became even more smug. Back then, Mom couldn't get pregnant. To hold on to Dad's heart, she had to adopt you from the orphanage. And a few years later, she got pregnant with me. Dad, I just can't accept it. No matter how I chose in both lives, it was always you who won. My heart trembled slightly, so everything made sense. Before Mom got pregnant with Anna, she poured all her love on me, but after having Anna, she started to dislike me. From childhood to adulthood, as the older sister, I had to give in to Anna, whether it was about food, clothing, daily necessities, or major life events like marriage. It turned out that I wasn't their biological daughter. In an instant, the resentment I had harbored for years suddenly dissipated. However, I wouldn't forgive them, because forgiving would mean betraying the little girl I used to be. My tone was calm. From the moment of rebirth, I knew I would win, because whether in my past life or this life, I would never place my hopes on others. Why do you think I could obtain the power to manage the household and the cutthroat Ethan family? All I need to do is hold the power in my own hands, while you only want to be a parasitic daughter clinging to men. Her eyes became fierce, and she unleashed a torrent of abuse. "You still can't do anything to me in this life? I'm in this state now and can't go to jail. I can still get away with it." I bent down and smiled calmly. Patients should stay in the hospital obediently, don't you think? I contacted the director of the mental hospital and paid a sum of money, instructing them to take good care of Anna. Anna had no idea what kind of tragedy a normal person would face once admitted to a mental hospital. To be on the safe side, I still had a paternity test done. After confirming that I wasn't the biological daughter of the parents in the Diana family, I had my household registration moved out. They were very discontented. "We've brought you up for over 20 years. Is this how you repay us?" My heart was already broken. I didn't say anything more but left them to figure out how to find work on their own. When they retire, I'd pay them the minimum alimony as required by law. Only then did they realize that I had no intention of taking care of them anymore. They quickly grabbed me and tried to sweet-talk me. But alas, belated affection is cheaper than grass. I continued to expand my business empire. With the former Ethan Group as a foundation, I was involved in an increasingly wide range of fields. In less than 5 years, I began to expand across the country. During this period, I received a call from the mental hospital. They said that Anna often shouted that she wasn't ill, and they used electrotherapy to calm her down. After several cycles of this, she went completely crazy. Every day she held a tattered doll and claimed that she was the young mistress of the Ethan family and would be the general manager of the Ethan Group in the future. I smiled indifferently and just reminded them not to cause any loss of life. The parents of the Diana family, without any financial resources, had to go out to look for work, but they were used to being high and mighty and couldn't accept the life of having to support themselves with their own hands. They often got into violent fights. The once shrewd boss and the elegant and dignified rich lady lost their former dignity. It's hard to go from luxury to frugality. The bosses in the circle, knowing the feud between me and the Diana family, naturally wouldn't offer them any help. Anna's mother hooked up with a newly rich boss and was willing to be his mistress. She regained her former pampered state, but was discovered by Anna's father, who gave her a severe beating. They made a scene at the police station and finally got divorced, looking extremely embarrassed. After learning about all this, I just felt that things in life are so unpredictable. All I needed to do was to fulfill my filial piety. 3 years later, I was still busy. I rejected all advances from the opposite sex. Now I'm wholeheartedly focused on making money. After a party, I was taking a stroll along the roadside to clear my mind when I saw Ethan. After the downfall of the Ethan family, all the mistresses he had been keeping ran away with the money. He had no savings and no ability to work, living without any dignity. For a moment, my thoughts drifted back to my past life. In my past life, he always liked to torture me in twisted ways to satisfy his desires. Now he didn't even have the dignity of being a human being. Isn't this the cycle of karma? I walked over and placed a red bill in the bowl in front of him. He excitedly looked up, and his face changed drastically when he saw it was me. I didn't say a word and walked away quickly. From behind, I could hear the commotion of other beggars snatching the money from his bowl. There are 100 ways for a living flower to bloom moving forward. I've decided to embrace the next spring,